Unit 5. Writing. Everyone needs tools to write well, and not just pencil and paper. Understanding the basics of researching, writing, and editing, as well as knowing all the nitty-gritty details, like which connecting word help introduce the ideas, all come together to create together writing. Some of the most common form of the writing are arguments, informative text, explanatory text, narratives. Once you know how to write these, you can write almost anything. Chapter 28. Researching for writing. Research. Research is investigation to answer questions and discover new knowledge. We research to get new information and explore our own idea further. When you research, we first must look for sources, anything or anyone that can give us information. You can get new information from lots of different mediums. Media often refer to mass communication, but media is also another plural form of medium. A source can be another text, or it could be something not even written down. It just depends on what you read for your writing. Medium, a way in which information is delivered. Before you begin to research, you must have a clear idea of what issue you want to learn about and which question you need to explore. You may want to start by creating a research question, which is simply a question that maps out exactly what you want to research. Good research question example follow have been proposed in the United States in the last 10 years to close the wage gap between men and women. This question works well because it's specific, so it offers a clear path to research. Bad research question example, one knows about wages. This question does not work well because it's so broad that it will be difficult to research, and because it does not have a clear purpose or reason why someone might want to know the answer. Good research question example, how does the author treat a subject of magic in enchanted fun? This question works well because it's focused enough to result in a clear answer, but broad enough for that answer to be complex and interesting. Bad research question example, what happened at the end of the enchanted fun? This question does not work well because the answer is too specific. It does not require much research beyond turning to the last page of the book, and it does not offer much opportunity for thought and discussion. Sources. These sources can provide information for fiction writing or evidence to support argument or analysis. Literary sources. Fiction is imaginary, but that doesn't mean we can't learn anything from it. First of all, fiction is often carefully researched by the author who might have learned a lot about the historical time or a certain place to write about it accurately and in great detail. But whether a fiction piece is heavily researched or not, it can often tell us something about the time in which it was written, how an author thought and felt about the world around him or her. Some literary sources are poem, radio program and podcast, novel, television and movies, short stories, blogs and websites, plays, and more. Non-fiction sources. No matter what kind of non-fiction, we know you are always going to find one thing in it, fact. Often that's what you are looking for when we do research. So non-fiction is frequently where we'll turn to find our information Some non-fiction sources are newspaper, scientific paper, magazine, expert interview, radio program and podcast, video presentation, encyclopedias, dictionary, reputable website and blogs, and more. Credibility of sources. Not every source is credible. If your brother is always borrowing money from you but never pays you back, then he's not very credible. And he said, I promise I'll pay you back this time. Credible, believable. The strength of your argument depends on the strength of the supporting evidence. If a source isn't credible, the evidence could not wrong, biased, or inaccurate, and thus your argument would not hold up either. How could you know if a source is credible? Ask the following question. Does the author have a good reputation? Do other writers trust his or her work? Has the author been published in respectable publications? Does the publisher have a good reputation? Do other writers rely on this publisher for information? Has the publisher published other works that people quote and use in their writing? How recent is the information? Is the source from the correct time period? Is the information up to date? Does the information match another reliable source? Do two or more other reliable sources show the same information? Using multiple sources. Even when your source is credible, he or she probably doesn't know anything. To get the whole picture, use multiple sources. Example, two eyewitness accounts describe the sinking of the Titanic in April 1912. Elizabeth Shute, a governess on the ship, wrote, Our lifeboat, with 36 in it, began lowering to the sea. This was done amid greatest confusion. Rough seamen all giving different orders, no officer abroad. As only one side of the ropes worked, the lifeboat at one time was in such a position that it seemed we must capsize in midair. At least the ropes worked together, and we drew nearer and nearer the black, oily water. The first touch of our lifeboat on the Black Sea came to me as a last goodbye to life, and so we put up. A tiny boat on a grey sea rowed away from what had been a safe home for 5 days. Washington Dodge, a doctor on the ship, wrote, The officer in the charge of loading the boat were cool and masterful, preventing as far as possible all disorder and enforcing the command to care for women and children first. And boat 13 was lowered to A deck to be loaded. I went to this deck. After 8 or 10 women had been placed aboard, no further women or children were within hearing to respond to the officer's call. A number of men then climbed over the rail into the boat, and someone pushed me from behind and shouted, Get in, doctor! I climbed in, and in a few moments the boat was filled and order given to lawyer. As we were lowered, boat 15, which had been loaded from the boat deck, was also being lowered. By this, we were for a few minutes placed in a perilous position, which threatened our destruction. We observed as we neared the water that our boat was being lowered directly into the immense volume of water thrown out from the ship's side by the condenser pump. On the Titanic, this was stream about 3 feet in diameter, which was thrown with great force 6 or 8 feet from the ship. It would instantly have swamped our boat to add to our anxiety. Boat 15 had swung directly over our head, owing to the pace that the steamer had settled several feet into the water at her bow. Both boats were being lowered when our loud cries of warning were heard above, and lowering the both boats arrested. We had no officer, no seamen in our boat to direct us, but fortunately were able to disengage an oar. Indeed, it pushed the row of our boat, which overhung the threatening water from the pump, 8 or 10 feet from the steep side. When releasing the trigger, we dropped into the water and were at once swept away from the steamer side by a great force of the water. Both accounts say a similar event and describe getting into the boat, the lowering of the boat, no officer in the lifeboat, trouble with lowering the boat, landing on the open sea as the Titanic sank. However, there are also differences. Shuchu describe confusion on deck, whereas Doji describe water. Shuchu give a brief description of the nautical technology, and Doji give a detailed description of nautical technology. Shuchu Hajun describe much of what the people in her boat read, and Doji explained that the resident of his boat shouted for help and used an oar to stay safe. Neither suit nor Doge is wrong.